Hey everybody, how you doing? Well, that's good. Welcome to PHLY Flyers, presented by your local Ford store and Bet365. My name is Bill Matz. I'm your director of fun and games on this Friday afternoon. Joining me live in the XFINITY studio, it is Philly's #1 hockey beat reporter, Charlie O'Connor. What's going on today, Chuck?
Well, it was a surprise off day for both the Flyers and myself. Not counting the show, obviously, but this isn't work. This is fun.
It's always fun.
Didn't have to go to
here.
Voorhees. No practice today.
It's fun getting to come here and speak to all of our wonderful, wonderful viewers, listeners, however you consume the show. We really appreciate it, and we'd appreciate it more if you hit that like button.
Yes.
23 likes, great start 45 seconds into the show, but you know now that the season is underway, 200. 200 is the goal during the live presentation. There is absolutely no reason we can't get there. Hit that like button. And while I am telling you how you can help us out, become a diehard. Do it now. Do it now. I say all the time, just our hockey coverage alone is well worth the price. Flyers played a preseason game in Hershey, not an NHL arena last night. And we have not one, but two articles just for diehards up on allphly.com. Our AHL correspondent, Maddie Campbell, and of course, Charlie O'Connor also wrote something that got published concerning last night's game. And if you're like, oh, well, I don't know if it's time, it is the perfect time because we have a couple of different deals for you. Right now, you can become a diehard and get a free hat, and you still get the big discount, $59 for a year of diehard access. Of course, all of our premium content from our all-star cast of writers, all access to the Discord, all sorts of great benefits that come along with it. Plus, these really cool free new hats that we have from Branded Bills. Everybody wants one of these hats. They are very much in demand. If you sign up to become a diehard for $60, under $60 a year, you get one. Or the old faithful $36 a year, you get your choice of an exclusive T-shirt.
Exactly.
Some of these T-shirts, limited run. We're only going to have the Bird Gang. We're only going to have Durantula so long. Guarantee yours. Become a diehard today. Take advantage of one of our two awesome sales.
Yeah, we're pumping out the content here on the website to be sure. And that new hat just came out today. And normally the diehard membership costs $80 a year. Here you can get it for $60 and get that fresh.
And the hat, which are gonna run out. Like,
oh yeah, they will.
We have already been told, like, yeah, you can buy them, but like, we're not giving them to the staff because there's only so many, and they're going. So make sure you get in on that or get the shirt, $36 a year. All right, we are kicking things off today with the big takeaway presented by XFINITY. The big takeaway is that sucked.
It was a bad hockey game.
It was not a good hockey game. Listen, XFINITY, it's your go-to place for sports, and I was very happy to be able to watch the Flyers actually on TV and take advantage of how great the sports destination is with XFINITY. But the game itself, Flyers lose 5-1 to the Caps. That sucked. Listen, I think it's just as simple as, I think we can chalk it up now. I am not really, it's the preseason. We know what the preseason is. We always, there's always that example. The year the Patriots went undefeated, they lost all 4 preseason games. I think the year the Lions won,
when winless,
when 0-16,
yeah, they won all.
They won 4 preseason games.
Yep.
It's the preseason, man. I don't know if we can take big takeaways, but
my big takeaway from a Flyers standpoint is the one good Flyer season we got over the last, let's say, 10 years. It started out with them losing to a team from Lausanne.
Oh, that's right. They played Lasagna.
They played Lasagna and
they
lost
to, like, yeah.
The people were ready to burn the entire team to the ground.
The place I've never heard of.
Yep.
They lost to their, like, local club.
Yep. and then they went out and had the only good season of our time as a show.
The 10 years we've been doing this, the only time they've been actually any good. Yeah, so the big takeaway for me is very simple. 7 days of camp, all 3 preseason games on the road. They had nothing. And I do think there is something to maybe take away, not from last night's game, but Rick Tocchet's response to it, Charlie.
I agree.
We're talking emotional intelligence here with Rick Tocchet. He's not flipping out. He's not saying the boys ain't trying. He's not questioning the effort. not looking for a job in media after a few preseason games. He simply gives them the day off from on ice today because he knows they've had to travel 3 times. They had no legs last night. Like, yes, if you want to be a cynic and you want to be angry, and listen, like we just said, they've been bad for a long time. So you're well within your rights to feel this way as a fan. You're just mad at them. But like, I really doubt like Egor Zamula, who like wants to stay in the NHL and have, a 10-year career. I really doubt LJ Grans, who just wants a freaking shot, is like dogging it on purpose because they don't care. There's probably something to they just didn't have any energy. They were trying, but there was nothing in the tank.
Yeah, and as you said, I think the most important part of this as a takeaway is Tocchet's response, because this is the first time, really, that Tocchet has been the head coach when the team underwhelmed, when the team severely underperformed, because it's going to happen. It happens all the time during a hockey season, even for the best teams. They have stinkers where they lose 5-0 or whatever, and then you see how a coach reacts. A guy like John Tortorella might often react negatively. Although with Torts, it was weird. He would react okay when they got killed, and then they would win 2-1 and he'd be livid. So who knows?
Yeah, he had a real, like, everything he did was a mind game.
Yeah.
It was really like they'd get killed and he'd have sympathy. Who knows what he was doing behind closed doors.
True.
But he'd have sympathy and be like, it's 3-4, we're on this run. Goalie could have been better, but blah, blah, blah. And then, they'd like win 2-1 in overtime, but get outshot. And it was, these guys suck.
He'd deliver a 30-second post-game press.
Get up and leave.
Yeah.
So who knows? But Rick Tocchet, at least to this point, I think that is the big takeaway here. He is much different. And we were talking about this, like, we've come to realize it in a short time, having dealt with Tocchet just a little bit. Like, the perception when he was, I guess before even he was hired, and a couple of years ago when Kelly and I were like, oh, it's either Tortorella or Tocchet, like they're taking one, and obviously it's one of these dudes because they're hard-ass Flyers dudes. Tocchet is a badass. Like, don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. He's a badass. But he has other levels and layers, and he knows, it seems like
he's an onion. He's got layers.
Onion. Yeah, man, he's got layers.
He's got layers.
Like, it's becoming much clearer to me why players seem to really like him. Like, it was okay, well, he let Phil Kessel do his thing, and suddenly, Quinn Hughes is the best defenseman in hockey, and he wants them to keep him as the coach and all this stuff. Crosby respects him. And you're just seeing why I think he is, while demanding, a player's coach.
Yeah, and again, I've said this a couple times because I've heard this from both on-the-record players and then off-the-record people within or right outside the organization. It goes back to that whole idea of he was an NHL player, and not just an NHL player, he was a darn good one.
A really good one.
You would think that because he went through it, because he went through the grind of an 82-game season or however long it was when he played. I think it was 82 for most. There were probably some years it was a little bit more, a little bit less when he played in the 80s. Maybe he is more qualified than John Tortorella to be able to distinguish between a guy dogging it and a guy trying, but the legs just aren't working because he's exhausted. Maybe he does just because he's lived it. Like, I would assume someone who's been in the NHL would do a better job of analyzing the fatigue of a player than I could.
Yeah.
Because they've done it and I haven't.
Do you think Egor Zamula's dive last night when he's trying to back check, do you think that was effort or he wanted to become a meme?
I have to believe it was effort, Bill. I have to believe it was.
It's one of those things that was just like, this game is so bad. Honestly, this might be the highlight. It
was a rough game.
He is 15 feet behind the play.
But
it's a rough game.
Yeah, but Tocchet could have easily responded to this because they were going to practice today. We are given, as people in the media, we are given the practice schedule. They were going to practice today. That was the plan. I was planning to go to practice at 12 p.m. That was when it was supposed to start. And then Tocchet says in the post-game presser, I was not there for that, but obviously there were media people who went up that, yeah, I think the guys are gassed. I don't think I'm going to practice them today. And then half an hour later, we get the text from Flyers PR saying, yeah, full day off tomorrow. I don't know if they went in for off-ice stuff, but they certainly weren't on the ice. So this is not well, we always plan to have this day off and then we just sold it as we're cutting them a break. No, they have a scheduled day off on Sunday, and Tocchet gave them another day off on Friday because he just thinks they're a little burnout. And I don't know for sure, but I'm going to trust Tocchet's evaluation here because he's closer to the team than I am.
And the way you laid it out in your article, it's very simple to connect these dots. You wrote, but from Thursday to Thursday, there have been 7 days of practice, 1 in-house scrimmage, and 3 road exhibition games, all with travel. And now the Flyers have also completed their first big rounds of roster cuts, which maybe it's mentally taxing, but it's also like more reps for everybody. You know, like there's fewer guys here. They've cut, 13 guys since the start. It's probably weighing on them. Now, no excuses. They need to be better. And we'll see how I'm not judging the preseason until at least like those 2 home games to wrap it up.
Okay.
If then it's like, they're still dead. Like, oh, that's not good because the season hasn't begun yet. But I just think this is that dead leg period. You know how pitchers early in the season, It's like, I have dead arm and I've only made 3 starts. This is we haven't done this in a couple months.
Yeah, the pitcher who normally throws 97 is throwing 94, and you just look at it and you say, by May he'll be throwing his normal velocity, right? And they usually are. Or they get Tommy John.
Or, that happens too. Who's to say? All right, that is the big takeaway presented by our friends at XFINITY. Now let's get to some of the nitty-gritty of last night's game, and I want to start with the goalies from the matchup with the Capitals in Hershey. And Dan Vladar made his NHL debut, and Maddie listed him as one of the few bright spots in her game article from last night. Does surrender a goal. It's shorthanded. I thought he was fine.
I thought he was pretty good.
He was acceptable, to say the least.
I will say that there were a couple times he looked Fedotov-ish in terms of being a really tall guy who didn't seem to fully know where all of his limbs were going. That said, I thought he was significantly better than Fedotov at one key thing, which was finding the puck through traffic.
I was going to say stopping the puck in general.
But seriously, finding the puck through traffic, because that was a major issue with Fedotov. He was doing the whole, looking over the heads of the defensemen thing, which I guess worked in the KHL, but ain't going to fly in the NHL. Vladar was doing a very good job of seeing the puck through screens. When there were people in front of him, he was still making the stop and not giving up rebounds. For the first preseason game, I thought that was probably the most encouraging sign, because if he's doing that well now, when he's not quite rounded into form, one would hope that'll be, if not a strength, at least not a major weakness for him when the games get real.
Stopped 8 of 9, allowed the 1 goal. I want to see Vladar get decent workload this year just because I'm kind of interested to see what he has. And also, when we're talking about him looking Fedotov-ish, like, okay, we are using this season to not only evaluate the goaltender position, but the goalie coach.
That's true.
And
good point.
All right, this is the starting point here with Vladar. Can you get him to a time where, all right, it's 8 of 9 now, soon it's 9 of 9, it's 9 of 10. Like, can you just ramp him up a little bit so that suddenly we are getting that at least league average goaltending we've been begging for?
Yeah, it's a fair point, and I wasn't even thinking about the Dillaball element. This whole idea of Ersson and Vladar only getting 1 period in their first game, that strikes me as a very Kim Dillaball thing. I know Dillaball gets a lot of control, but maybe that was something that he would have wanted to implement, but Tortorella wasn't as open to it. I get the sense this season for Dillaball is very much we're going to let you cook, and if what you cook doesn't taste good, you're gone. But we're not going to have we're not going to be telling you what ingredients to use. It's like, this is your shot, and we're going to let you do exactly what you want to do. You said you thought Vladar, you can turn him into something. All right, we got you, Dan Vladar. You think Sam Ersson's legit. Okay, we're sticking with him. But if you turn out to not be able to get these guys to perform better than you did last year with a head coach that we hand selected because we think he's going to build a system that's going to protect the goalies a little bit more, if they still stink, well, then we're getting a new guy.
It's absolutely like a major consideration here at this point, and I liked what I saw out of Vladar for the most part. It is his first game behind this new team he is signed with. It is his first 20 minutes of action in this preseason. I thought he represented himself fairly well. Looking forward to him actually getting a full game and seeing how he adjusts, how he maintains, how he's able to sustain. But for his first period, totally fine, I thought.
Yeah.
On the other hand, Aleksei Kolosov, who has been playing a decent amount lately.
He was playing pretty well.
Gets the final 40. And yeah, he looked good previously. Ouch.
Yeah, it was rough. This was last year, Aleksei
That
Kolosov.
was Kolosov. I mean, we have now, I think, like run the... This is what we saw out of Coley last year. And again, first week of preseason, we'll see. He's got to get through a full year of the AHL, probably get a couple starts in the NHL because of injuries or whatever at some point. But man, you just saw that inconsistency last night. You saw a couple of games ago, the huge save he's able to make on the 2-on-1. You see the athleticism, you see the potential. And then you see him just try to cover a puck in the crease, and his legs are, I don't know, further apart than California and New York. And the puck somehow just, it wasn't even a shot. I don't know what happened. He just like tries to cover the puck, and the next thing you know, it's through him.
Yeah.
Like he's legitimately Swiss cheese.
Yeah.
I just saw that, and it gave a lot of credence to like, maybe he just don't have it. But again, it's preseason. However, oof, not a great one for Coley. Stops 16 out of 20 in the second and third. Bad numbers. Don't care what the defense was doing in front of him. Didn't have a ton of help. Let's be honest. The team was bad.
The team played poorly.
But that one in particular, oof.
Yeah, somebody, I forget who it was on Twitter, but somebody had a screenshot of how small he made himself.
That was the other one, yeah.
Before the other goal. Kolosov already is not a big goalie. This is something that he's going to have to deal with. He's going to have to make himself look big because he is a 6-foot goalie in a league where most goalies at this point are 6'3" and above. He made himself look so small on that. Like, he gave up the entire upper half of the net. Like, he looked like he was squatting. It was bad. And hopefully these are things that can be addressed in the AHL. Hopefully these are the aspects of his game that could be papered over in the KHL, couldn't be papered over last year in the NHL, obviously. And now, well, he will hopefully be getting mostly a full season in the AHL. He'll be able to work with development coaches, goalie coaches, people in the organization that will be able to make these mistakes less frequent. That's the hope. But this game was just a reminder that, yeah, this guy ain't ready.
Yeah, it was encouraging to start. Like, okay, maybe he's got something going here. Here's the first setback. And now it's up to Coley. It's up to Dillaball. It's up to the whole organization to get him where we hope he can be, because he is still a prospect. He is still a guy that they have hopes for. They didn't put up with all his BS last year. They didn't get rid of Fedotov and keep him because they don't think he has anything. They think he must have some potential, and now we have to get him there.
And who knows, maybe in a weird sort of way, this was actually a good thing because it prevented him from being able to convince himself that he's ready for the NHL right now.
And we're right back to, like, yeah, if he is a better preseason than Vladar and Ersson, and he's like, here we go again.
Yeah.
And then we're all kind of in the here we go again.
Yeah.
Maybe just a little reminder, like, I don't know.
Still need a lot of work.
You let in 4 in 2 periods. That's bad no matter what the defense was in front of you.
Yeah.
That's the goaltending. It is going to be a work in progress this year, as it has been since 1975. You know, it's almost like these two things go hand in hand. All right. I want to talk about some of the guys pushing to make this team where we see some of these roster battles. I want to get into Luchanko, Grebenkin, bump, the defense, all of that. But right now, it's time to tell you about XFINITY. Listen, we all want to make our place the place to be for football Sundays, big October baseball games, beginning of hockey and basketball right around the corner. I just did a whole thing on Philadelphia earlier where I said, I hate leaving my house on Sundays. It's one of my biggest pet peeves in the world. Therefore, I try to have people to me. And to make that realistic, I have to have the best possible setup. And that's why, if you're going to make your house the place to watch sports for all your friends and family, you got to have XFINITY. It is the perfect ultimate sports destination. You have all the best games and all your favorite teams all in one place. And the way you watch is next level. XFINITY does the best picture and sound because of the enhanced 4K. It is so clear. It is like you are in the arena. And sometimes you got to have that fan flex and break out the quad box. You get 4 games going at once because why not? On top of that, you can keep track of all your parlays, keep track of all your fantasy because you get real-time notifications and live stats right on the TV screen. So next game day, make sure you're a big fan and not a big fail. Learn more at XFINITY.com. XFINITY, imagine that. Restrictions apply. Multiview requires XFINITY 4K capable TV box. While we're here, you know what time it is. It's Shady Rays time.
Yes.
I love my Shady Rays. This is one of my favorite sponsors here because I use this product every single day. That moment you realize you have left your favorite sunglasses at the beach or on the roof of your car or at a gas station 3 states away. We have all been there. I have lost so many pairs of glasses in the ocean. I don't know why I keep wearing them in there, but I do. It's a real bummer when you lose your favorite pair, but then I found Shady Rays, and it has changed the game. These sunglasses are made for real life. They're great looking, as you can see. They're polarized, but they don't mess with your eyes. You'll see me looking at a screen. It's fine. They're durable, and they're not crazy expensive. And the wildest part, if you lose or break them, even on day 1, Shady Rays will send you a brand new pair. So now I actually wear my favorite sunglasses without fear. I wear them to concerts. I wear them to the beach. I wear them everywhere. You will too. You'll love them. Shady Rays, it's eyewear that has your back. And we've teamed up with Shady Rays to bring you an exclusive offer. Head to shadyrays.com and use code PHLY for 35% off polarized glasses. Try for yourself. Shades rated 5 stars by over 300,000 people. Got real bright. Those are good glasses.
I mean, you look good with them on, Bill.
I kind of wanted to keep them on, but I thought it might be ridiculous if I do the whole show with sunglasses. It is, however, Friday. All right. The players pushing to make the team.
Okay.
Let's start with the forwards.
Yeah, okay.
How we handicap in this competition, I want to get to Rodrigo in a bit because,
All right, we'll leave him out of it for now.
Right now I have him as minus 150 to make the team. We're not actually going to put odds on this. That would I don't know math that well.
Yeah.
All right.
We'd have to get Bet Parks.
Luchanko, Grebenkin, bump. I want to start with Luchanko because you brought this up in your article. Did we maybe have some unreasonable expectations for what we would see out of Jett Luchanko in this preseason? He is 19 years old. He has some professional experience, made the team last year, got some AHL time, looked fairly decent, didn't score a goal, but was somewhat productive. Did we think he was going to come in and dominate, just steal this job? Because all of a sudden we're right back where we were. There was excitement with Luchanko, and now we're back to, does this guy even have it?
I mean, that's obviously an overreaction.
Sure.
What I would say is that I think it's reasonable to be disappointed that Luchanko hasn't taken a bigger year-over-year step so far. We still have another half of preseason to go.
Yeah.
And it's very possible that as the games progress, he has a big game. We're not done this yet. We're only 3 games into a 7-game slate. But I think it's reasonable to be a bit disappointed that he hasn't popped offensively more than he did last preseason. What I will say, though, is I don't think I saw some chatter on Twitter during the game, even in our Discord, about he looks worse than he did last preseason. And I don't think that's true. I think that we've retconned in our head that he must have looked really good if he made the team, when in reality, he more or less just looked like this last year, except he had John Tortorella after every practice and game telling us how awesome this kid was.
I think there's mostly that. And there's also the rookie game. He was legitimately impressive.
That is true. And he didn't have that this year.
And so that positively predisposed us. And it was okay, he's 18. He got drafted 2 months ago. He looks, for that first period, he looked at just as good as Matvei Michkov. Mish just took over after that, but looked awesome. And then we're starting to see, so now we're watching closer. And we see him do those little things. And then, of course, the coach is, this guy's the best center we have. Yeah. And that was maybe true in his head, or a shot at other players. Maybe both.
Maybe both.
Maybe both. It's just and now we're not having that. And maybe we expected him to just come out and be freaking awesome, or maybe we have done the was he great last year? I don't know. I really don't remember what I thought of him last year at this time, but I do think we were more positively predisposed starting with the rookie game, and then the coach is yo, he's great. And we were like, is he making the team? And this time it's, oh, I expect him to make the team. And he's not, as we like to say, banging down the door.
I think what it was for me is that when I watched him in last year's preseason game, I was confused at why people were acting like he was amazing. And now I'm finding myself on the other side where I'm confused why people are acting like he's playing terribly, because I'm seeing a lot of the same good things.
Charlie O. Contrarian, that's what we all say.
But I'm seeing a lot of the same good things I saw during last year's preseason.
Yeah.
He's making a lot of subtle, smart plays. He's doing a really good job on the breakout, settling in as the low man in the middle of the ice, to give his defensemen outlets to pass. He's doing good work along the boards. He's doing a very good job pressuring guys in the neutral zone. He's making good routes in the neutral zone. He's not doing much offensively, and there probably have been a few less flash plays, like splash plays, where you're like, oh man. That said, that pass he made to Owen Tippett, that feather pass in the in the second period where he flipped it over a guy's stick, and Owen Tippett very easily could have finished that one and turned it into a goal and given Luchanko a primary assist. Like, that was a splash play. That was a really good play. So they're still there. It's just that maybe he's not doing as much as we hoped he was going to do, given the fact that he made the team last year.
We were in this place with him last year, just thinking about where I just trying to put myself back. Let's turn the clocks back at you. Like, trying to put myself in that spot. Like, not everyone, including myself, crazy about the pick. And then suddenly the rookie game, he looks really good. And then he's surprising us with how good he looks at, having just turned 18 a month prior to the start of the preseason.
Sure.
And, oh, okay, this is new and exciting. And think about what this kid will be at 22 if he's already 18 and doing this stuff. And now it's, I kind of want him to make the team. Last year, it was a surprise.
Right.
Even though it was the coach praising him, I think our conversations were, is he really going to do this? Like, is he going to convince himself and the organization that Jett has been better than he has been, even though he's doing little things well? Like, I don't know, is he blowing it away for an 18-year-old to get this look? No. Now it's, well, he made the team last year. He has to this year. Let's see how he's developed. And he's just hasn't, I'm not saying he hasn't developed, but he hasn't shown us that he has yet compared to where he was a year ago.
Yeah, the expectations were absolutely higher, and that's certainly part of it. The other thing, and this is real, is he did play in the AHL at the end of last season and produced, especially in the playoffs. And that probably is the biggest disappointment, because I don't think we've yet to see the version of Luchanko who was very impressive in those playoff games for the Phantoms. We've yet to see that guy in preseason. Maybe we will. We have 4 more games left. I expect that Luchanko will play in at least a few of them. I don't see any reason why they would send him back early. They want to get as long of a look at him as possible. He clearly can hold up physically. He's faster than pretty much everybody on the ice on both teams, not just the Flyers, but whoever they play, he's maybe the fastest guy on the ice. There's no reason to rush him back to juniors. It's just that he did flash some of that offense in the AHL at the pro level in playoff hockey, and he hasn't yet done it. And that, to me, is probably the biggest disappointment. But I don't think he's regressed from where he was at last year's preseason, because if you really are paying close attention to his tape, he's still doing a lot of the little things right. He's still impressing on that level. He just hasn't taken the step that I hoped he was going to after. And I only watched a little bit of the playoff games in the AHL, but the step we hoped he was going to take, given the reports we got from him in the AHL at the end of the season.
I think it's kind of funny now you're on this side of this argument because talking about turning the clocks back.
Yeah.
We have compared him so much to Sean Couturier just in terms of like, okay, how might they use him if he is to make this team as a rookie? Will they be cool with him in a bottom 6 role and play him in matchups and things? Early in Coots' career, we're like, doesn't even need to score. He's doing all this stuff. He's a teenager, matching up with Evgeny Malkin in the final 2 minutes of his very first game, doing the little things. And we have this whole team in front of him that's very good, so it didn't matter. And then as it went on, when's he going to start scoring? He was like a top 10 pick. We need this guy to score. We don't quite have the depth we did a few years ago. Like, we need it. And I feel like we're almost already there with Jett. Like, all right, yeah, man, you're doing the little things. Great. Where's the offense? And he did start, like, in Lehigh, those 9 regular season games, 3 assists. But then in the playoffs, 6 assists in 7 games.
Exactly.
Like, all right, that's where it is. And now, I know it's just like you're wishing for some, wish in one hand, etc. But it would just be so nice if he could play in the AHL.
Yeah, it would.
Like,
It really would. That's the perfect spot for him.
It's exactly where he needs to be, playing against grown men, but not the NHL yet.
Yeah.
I don't think he's ready for the NHL. I think he could handle it physically to this point. And like you said, he could break out.
Yeah.
Why couldn't he? It happens all the time. Bobby Brink, you made that example the other day. First half, he was just a guy. And then as the camp went on, he started to get more comfortable, looked really good. It's just like seeing where he is. The AHL is where he needs to be, and it's the one thing that's not an option.
Yeah, it is definitely a bummer, but that's the cards they're dealt.
Yeah, what the hell can you do?
And as Brent Flair said in the interview that I did with him in the lead up to camp, while they would like to see him earn his way onto the NHL roster, I don't think the Flyers have tried to hide that in an ideal world, he earns his way onto the roster and everybody's happy. It's not going to hurt him to go back to juniors, to dominate that level, even on a bad team, to dominate that level, at least by the eye test, to go play a major role for Team Canada, World Juniors. And then at the end of the season, if Guelph doesn't make the playoffs or if he doesn't get traded to a London or something, plays in the AHL or maybe plays in the NHL at the end of the year. It's not going to kill him. It's just a bummer because the AHL is so clearly the obvious spot for him and they can't put him there. It stinks.
It does. And that's one of the perils of drafting somebody so young. The league is addressing this issue. However, they have not yet. It does not help us.
1 year too late.
1 year too late. All right. Nikita Grebenkin also played last night. We said the other day, like, if it's one of these three, and we're going to get the bump in a second, has to make it, I would say maybe Grebenkin, just because, like, his game is the most ready for what it's supposed to be when he is here. Didn't really notice him much.
I thought Grebenkin out of the three was the least noticeable
Didn't really
last night. But, and this is the important thing, for me, and I put this in my story, this was his real first misstep of camp. He was very good in the rookie games. I thought he was strong in the scrimmage. I thought he was impressive in his first preseason game. He's popped in practices, showing some chemistry with Michkov. Played a lot with him in the first maybe like 3-4 days of camp. This was the first time I watched Grebenkin and was underwhelmed, which makes it easier for me to accept the, I don't even want to use the word excuse, let's say explanation, that he was tired. That maybe he is one of the guys who was just plain exhausted, just gassed, just didn't have his legs. And then if he gets into Saturday's game or the following preseason game, he's going to look more like the guy from the first 5-6 days of camp. More than the other two, I'm willing to give him a little bit of a pass because he showed me more in the first part of camp than those guys did.
And that gets us to Alex Bump. He also was in the lineup last night, -2 on the night, 2 shots on goal. I just feel like he's continuing to look like this guy that I'm cool with in my bottom 6, but like at a certain point you do have to score.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like this is,
especially when like that's what you're going to do.
yeah,
at the
like
NHL
we
level.
need, it's not only are you a good role player, it's like, and you have that added bonus of, you know, he might be a 20-goal guy. You know, he might get there. And it's the second preseason game of his first season in the NHL. It's not the end of the world in terms of determining his ceiling, but we were so gung-ho, like, oh, if any of these guys are making it, it's Bump. We kind of penciled him in, and he's not running away with it the way I hoped.
Like, he's popping to me.
Yeah.
And I put this in my article. Definitely go and read it if you're a diehard. If you're not, go become a diehard. We got a sale going on. But the point I made was that out of the 3 guys that we've talked about, Grebenkin, Luchanko, and now Bump, I feel like he has been the most noticeable. And it's not just because he's playing with good line mates. He has that, I don't even want to say it factor, but it's a skill to have the puck find you a lot, because it means you're putting yourself in positions for the puck to find you. You're setting yourself up in space to get the puck with space in front of you to skate into a play. You're getting the puck in dangerous areas because you're smart enough to get to those dangerous areas. And Bump is doing that more than the other 2 guys, I would say. It's just that he's not doing enough with it. Once he gets the puck, some of it is he's getting the puck knocked off his stick a little bit too much for my liking. Some of it is that he's just not finishing on his chances, or the players that he's passing to aren't finishing on chances. And look, some of that is maybe he's a little snake bit, but also you're supposed to score points and you're not.
It's very funny. We just made the Luchanko-Coots comparison. This is another thing we've said before. The puck control is one thing. He's just going to have the puck more on his stick than this other player. But man, 2/3 of what you just said, could have been a recording from a BSH radio episode where we talked about Oscar Lindblom.
Yeah.
And like eventually he did get there.
Yeah, he figured it out.
Like he eventually was like, man, he's always in the right place. He's always doing stuff. He's always getting these chances. If he ever figures out how to finish, we're going to have a hell of a player on our hands. Fate would have it that it didn't last very long, but
Fortunately, yeah.
like he did figure it out. And he was a hell of a player.
And Bump is a better skater than Lindblom ever was.
He's going to carry the puck more just because he has that skating ability, has a little bit more of like that puck skill. Lindblom was more of a get to the spot and then I'm going to jam it in at the net, where Bump, I think he's got more of a shot, more of just an overall game. But I think they are similar in that way. We've seen him produce at other levels. Now it's just, can he figure out how to do it? I think he's going to. Like, this doesn't lower my opinion of Bump. It's just like, right now, man, because I want to see exciting stuff to start this year. Yeah, Zegras and Michkov, that's going to be cool. But when they're not on the ice, I want other stuff happening too. And it's, if they send him down, I'm going to be disappointed, but it's not like in the team. I'm disappointed that he just didn't steal the job.
Yeah, and again, 4 more games.
Yeah,
There's no reason why he'll get sent down early. I think they'll give him at least a couple more to show that he can break through. And it does feel like even more than Grebenkin and more than Luchanko, it feels like Bump is close. It's just, is it going to happen in enough time, or is he going to have that breakout happen the first 15 games of his AHL career?
No, and like we look up on Thanksgiving and it's, oh yeah, Bump's leading the Phantoms in scoring and we're calling him up.
Right.
Like, and that's not the end of the world either. Like,
no.
That's totally fine.
It's a bummer in the here and now.
It's just
it's not the end of the world.
This is what I'm focused on today. Yeah. And that's we do a daily show. That's just the way it's going to be. But we do need to preface it with like, I don't think less of Jett Luchanko, what he's going to be at 24 years old because of right now. I don't think, Bump's just never going to score. He's going to be a 4th line role player. It's just, I wanted to see a little bit more out of all these guys.
I don't think any of them have been bad.
No. Yeah.
Unlike the other position where I do think a lot of them have been actively bad. I don't think any of the forwards at the top of the list have been actively underwhelming. They just haven't yet done enough to be like, yup, this is their spot.
We'll get to the defense. Yeah. But the one guy who it's maybe not the most exciting choice, Rodrigo Abols. And this is one of those things where, yeah, man, they're all tired. They've all been practicing, but Abols is the only one that's played every game. And listen, it's less minutes, maybe expectations aren't as high, but he just keeps going out there and looking like a player.
Yeah, and he looked a little tired too. He acknowledged that after the game.
The whole team sucked.
But he comes away with a primary assist on a nice play below the goal line. He gets a shot, creates a rebound. Gaucher puts it in. It's the only goal the Flyers scored in the game, directly created by Rodrigo Abols. And again, say what you will about the team being tired. If anybody had an excuse to be more tired than everybody else, this is the guy that's played in 3 games in 5 days and had to travel for each of those games. And he found a way to make an impact in lesser minutes with, and again, I don't want to be piling on this guy, but like he had Nick Delorier and Jake Gaucher as his line mates. It's not like he had Travis Konechny. It's not like he had Trevor Zegras or Matvei Michkov as his line mates the way that guys like Bump and Grebenkin have had. I think he's been impressive. It would be disappointing if he gets not a job on the starting roster, because I think at this point he has to be viewed as the front runner to be an extra forward. Like, to me, he is a slam dunk 14th forward. Put him on the roster, have him be an extra. He can play center and wing. He's big. He can win faceoffs. He's 29 going on 30, so it's not like he has much more developmental runway.
Yeah, he is what he is.
Yeah, he should be on this roster as an extra. But it would be disappointing if he makes the game 1 lineup because no one else sees the job. That would be disappointing. Nothing against Abols, but it would just be disappointing because what it says about the other guys.
Great for him. He came in, worked his ass off. We talked yesterday about he's clearly a better skater than he was a year ago. Yeah. Like, it's just these other guys have higher ceilings. We're counting on them for the future. Yeah. And if they weren't able to beat Rodrigo Abols, who I am perfectly cool with being on my 4th line or being an extra, whatever. Yeah. But if that's the dude who makes it, it's like, Jett, you couldn't beat him.
Yeah.
You were drafted 12th overall. Not that most 19-year-old 12th overall picks make it, or 13th overall. 13th. They traded down. Yes.
I wasn't sure if you're right on that.
You're drafted 13th overall. Not that, and again, and now we're in the teens.
Yeah.
Most 19-year-old 13th overall picks don't make it. that year, you know?
Yeah.
But it's like, oh, we really thought you had a chance, and they still do. All right. We're going to talk. I want to do a little on Nesbitt because you just mentioned him, and then we'll get to the defense, but we need to take our next break. All right, it's time to tell you about TrueMark Financial. I've been calling September like a it's like New Year's light, right? It's the whole calendar doesn't flip. It's not the change of the year, but it's the change of the seasons. Football starts, hockey and basketball right around the corner. October baseball begins in a few days. It's kind of like a nice little reset. Kids go back to school, and a nice reset, well, that's a good time to get better control over your finances, get your finances back in shape, and that's where TrueMark Financial Credit Union comes in. They have a great tool to get your finances back under control called Savvy Money. It's right inside their online banking and mobile app. You don't have to download anything else. It's right there. I use it myself, and listen, if I can get my credit score up, if I can fix my financial situation, you certainly can, because you can check your credit score anytime with Savvy Money, and it doesn't take a hit. You can get tips on how to improve your score and even get alerts when anything changes. That's just smart defense. That's playing smart D with the money. Maybe the hockey team could use this. So if you're, speaking of defense, so if you're already on Team TrueMark, fire up that app and check out Savvy Money today. And if you're not a member yet, what are you waiting for? Step up your financial game, swing by one of their 24 branches, or visit TrueMark.com/PHLY to open an account. TrueMark Financial Credit Union is federally insured by the NCUA. And now, listen, you got your finances under control. Now it's time to have a little fun. And where do you have a little fun? On the BetParx online casino app. I've been using some of my downtime here at the studio. I am here a long time now, and I'm not doing show prep 8 hours a day. I have a little downtime. I've been playing Huff and More Puff, give it a couple spins, have some fun, and maybe win a little bit. And now is the best time to get in on the BetParx online casino app, because new users get up to $1,000 casino bonus back if you're down in the first 24 hours. They have all your favorite casino games: blackjack, roulette, craps, baccarat, and hot online slots based on your favorite streaming shows, or some classic casino slots like Cleopatra and 88 Fortunes. All you got to do, go to betparx.com, download the app right now, enjoy all the action and excitement from the casino at your fingertips. Must be 21 and in PA, Jersey, Maryland, or Michigan for BetParx. You love to play. You play to win. You bet. BetParx. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Much better read day than yesterday. I am not nearly as frustrated with my performance.
All right,
today.
Before we get into Jack Nesbitt, we're sitting at 158
158,
likes. Solid.
On pace.
That means that we are primed to hit 200 by the end of the show easily, but we need 41 more. We just up to 159. So let's get to 200, folks. Hit that like button.
We're on the right pace, but we need you to bang the door down. 200 is Rodrigo Abols. That's fine. It's acceptable. But Jett Luchanko, that's 300. All right. I love it. I don't know, man. All right. You talked about Jack Nesbitt. I was just going to call him Charlie Nesbitt because I have in here Charlie on Nesbitt. And that's not it. But you tweeted about him earlier, and you said not that he was off or anything, and really no one was good. But I have to think his work last night slows the "could Jack Nesbitt make the team" chatter. He's had an impressive camp, but he did seem to legit struggle with the pace against Washington.
Yeah.
It was always kind of like, I mean, he's not gonna make it, but they seem to really like him, and he keeps doing stuff. He was gonna struggle at some point. Maybe last night was a bump because everybody sucked, or maybe it's just a reminder that, yeah, a week ago they told us he's a long-term project,
Yeah, but also you had Riley Armstrong and Danny Briere saying on the record, we think Nesbitt's going to make us think. So if you're looking for who brought this to the foreground, like, it's literally the hot dog meme. Like, yeah. Like,
is that our most used reference now?
It might be. It might be. That and the it's going to be a boat.
Yeah, the boat is always...
The boat will always be number one. But, like, we're all looking for the guy who did this. It was the Flyers who put the idea in fans' heads of, maybe Nesbitt could pull Luchanko. You never know. I think the moment that at least the online portion of the fan base turned to the, oh yeah, he ain't ready, it was that turnover on the shorthanded goal. Because number one, it's a bad turnover. He's on the half boards. It's a bad pass. He throws it right to a Washington Capital. It's the Connor McMichael goal. But not just that. It was the bad pass followed by him trying to catch up. And then that was the moment where I think everyone was like, oh yeah, the skating's a problem. And granted, he was coming from a stop position, so obviously he was going to struggle. He probably wasn't going to catch up to him, but that was the moment where I think a lot of people who were thinking of, he doesn't look that slow. He's keeping up. And then you saw that and you think to yourself, oh yeah, he needs to get quicker.
All right. Because of that, you just reminded me of a little side quest conversation we never actually got to the other day. It's going back to Sunday's game.
Okay.
So try to rewind.
Okay.
Now, listen, we all know Matvei Michkov, not a burner when it comes to skating. And yes, Matthew Schaefer is awesome. And he was low in the zone and it was like super impressive. But he does have Matthew Schaefer like 20 steps to get going as Mish is kind of turned, opening up for the pass and waiting for it. Now, he does still have a few steps on him and super impressive play. But I don't think it was like a bunch of the highlights on Twitter were like, oh, he made Mish look super slow. Again, not a burner. But when you're talking about like a guy in a stop position versus a guy who already like is flying, we do have to take that into account sometimes.
And Matthew Schaefer, a big reason why he was taken first overall.
Because he does that all the time.
Because he's a really, really good skater who just eats up space. Michkov, for all of the criticisms about like, well, he can look slow sometimes. I think this is the first time I remember at the NHL level him getting caught on a breakaway.
There were a bunch of times last year.
It was about to
It was like, go, come on, move. Yeah. And then like he'd score.
Yeah.
He'd get the shot off or he'd make a move or he'd pass. And it was, deceptively fast, maybe.
But I just knew. He could sense how close the guy was behind him, which for most players, I would think that's BS. For Michkov, honestly, maybe.
It's the pocket awareness thing. Like you need to feel the rush.
Exactly.
How? I don't know, man.
You just do.
You just do. The greats have it and some don't, you know? But yeah, I don't, it's something that was talked about at the time that I don't think we ever actually got to.
Yeah, we never talked about it, right?
Back to this. All right, Nesbitt, it was never going to happen. And now it's just, and here's why. You know, there's a little bit of...
That was my thought.
Yeah.
Now, who knows? Maybe the Flyers will do something crazy if he goes out and scores 2 goals in a game next week.
They are the Flyers.
They are the Flyers. But to me, I'm not even pointing this to the Flyers. I'm just saying hopefully this chills the chatter down a little bit in our comment section on social media of, well, Nesbitt's real big and they love big players. I really don't think he's ready.
I'm going to talk about Galaxy braining the defense decision in a second, but just we had someone tweeted at me and you the other day, and Kelly as well. Is it bad if Nesbitt gets the tryout, the 9 games or whatever, because they made Porter Martone go to college and he was like wanted to make the team, and Nesbitt they said is a long-term project, and now suddenly he's playing in the NHL and they drafted him 6 spots afterwards, and it was like, all right, everybody calm down. Let's remember that this decision was made by Porter Martone and his family. They gave him an option and they told him like, listen, we don't think juniors has anything for you, that's pointless, but like, up to you, bro.
And you could make the team.
Maybe you could. Yeah. Maybe you could. But we're not guaranteeing you a spot. Make your decision from this information that we've presented you. And he and his family decided. So there's no... because people start to get nuts about stuff. It was one comment.
Let their brains run away with them. It's fair. That's part of being a fan.
It was one comment. But yes, exactly. Like, you're allowed to be insane. That's one of my favorite parts about sports. You have to be normal every day. Sports, you get to be nuts.
True.
But he's not Cutter. We always have to remember. All right. The defense, Charlie. Have we just been galaxy braining this thing? Like, maybe it's Grons, maybe it's this, maybe Juulsen. Like, the best player for the 6th spot on opening night, the best hockey player they have who isn't a lock, is Emil Andre. He played half the games last year. He looked good in a bunch of them. Let's just see if he can do it again.
Bill, that's what I would do.
Again, they're the Flyers.
That's what I would do.
Maybe they're looking for an element to the closest thing to Rasmus Ristolainen, because we all know, like, yeah, man, we've all turned the corner on Risto and think he's good, but at the end of the day, is he anything special? No, he's just good, and they think higher of him than that. Maybe they want an element that's closer to what he brings, but, like, just the best hockey player of all these dudes who could be that 6th spot on opening night. He's the best hockey player.
Yeah, there is a little Occam's razor here of just, I don't know, just pick the guy who's the best at playing hockey. And I think Emil Andre, at least given the fact that Oliver Bonk has not been available, because I guess he could make a case at some point that he could be better. But like right now, yeah, out of these guys competing, I think it's pretty clearly Andre. And I don't think Andre's been incredible either. But in his one preseason game, he showed what makes him intriguing. He showed the puck carrying ability. He showed the decisiveness. He showed the aggressiveness. I think in practices, obviously most people don't have the ability to go to practice. I do. He's been a mixed bag. He's had good reps. He's had bad reps. But in comparison to the competition, especially with what Grans showed last night, because I thought Grans was okay in his first preseason game. I really did. I thought he was fine, not incredible, but I thought he did enough to keep himself right at the top of the list. In a night where mostly everyone was bad, Grans was near the bottom of the list of bad.
On a single play, like I've thought this whole time, you know what? Righty shot, bigger guy, kind of liked what I saw in limited opportunity last year. If it's Grans over Andre because they want size, more poise.
He's no longer waiver exempt. Yeah, you might lose him.
Fine. You know what? I can very much live with this decision. It went from that to, yeah, I'm good.
I'm not ready to bury him yet. I'm just saying he had a bad game. He had a legitimately bad game.
Like, if the criticism is, and he came in saying, like, I want to be more physical. I want to be able to use my leverage, like you pointed out in the first game. Man, you can't just let that guy get by you like that.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. It's one play. It's just like, bro, this is the thing you needed to do to take the step, because you're never going to be a star. You're never going to be on power play one. Yeah. Like, you needed to do this thing. You needed to be better Robert Haig. And like, Haig would have killed that guy.
Yeah.
Like, he wasn't very good. That's why he's not an everyday NHL player, but he would have done his best to knock that guy on his ass. And Grans is just a pylon on that play. It's one play. But I'm like, just let it be Andre. Let Andre go out there and see if he can become what we need him to become.
And my thing, too, is that if it was just the one play, I would be more forcefully defending Helge Grans today. It wasn't just the one play. He had multiple shifts where he was messing up, where he was losing battles, where he looked lethargic in his strides. Look, maybe it's fatigue. Maybe he was heavily influenced by the general tiredness that seemed to infect the team, at least according to Rick Tocchet. That said, Rodrigo Abols found a way. He found a way to dig deep and make an impact and get a primary assist. He's very much in the battle for a roster spot, and he found a way to dig deep and make plays. Helge Grans did not. And not saying it kills his chances, but it definitely pushes him. This was an opportunity for him to basically be like, yup, it's my spot. I'm the 6. I had a good game. Instead, now we're having a conversation like we just had of like, isn't Emil Andre the best player?
Just give it to the guy who's the best. Like, you know what? Has he stood out? No. He looks like Emil Andre. He's looked some like the guy who we really liked. He's like some like the guy that was like, all right, needs work. Let him figure it out, because he's got the highest ceiling, and we saw him in 42 games last year, and they looked pretty good for the most part.
The big thing with Andre, and this is why I've in my head going into camp thought that Grans had a leg up on him, is just that it's Ristolainen who's out, and they've explicitly said on the record they are worried about having a defense of Cam York, Jamie Drysdale, and Emil Andre all in the lineup at the same time. They want their defense to be big. Having Andre on the defense with those two guys also on the defense makes it small, especially when he's replacing the big guy in Ristolainen. But at some point, you just may have to be like, well, if nobody else plays well enough to take the job, I guess we got to do what we don't want to do.
There's no, yeah, I get it, man. You need defensemen who are 6'2", especially in the playoffs and everything. And if this isn't what we ultimately want the blue line to look like, okay, that's a philosophical difference. This is not the team that's like, oh yeah, man, well, we're worried about matching up with the Panthers in round 2. Like, no, you're not. You're worried about being over 500.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
We're just trying to develop some guys here and not suck this season. Let's just go with the best player at this point. Again, 4 preseason games left. Lots to be decided.
Sure is.
But like, based on last night and where this defensive battle is, if no one's winning it, and I'm sure they wanted Andre to like everyone else, come in and show us you're the guy. And maybe he hasn't done that yet, but he's the best player of them.
Yeah, and I put it, you had the quote literally in our outline from my column.
This is funny.
It's a reflection of the state of the race that a 25-year-old Jinning, who entered this camp a serious long shot and trending towards organizational afterthought, might now be a serious contender for a spot simply because he hasn't been actively underwhelming. That speaks to the problem.
Can we just for a second? You're a humble man. Tremendous, right?
Oh, thanks, man.
I almost just said the F word for the second time. Almost, but very, very good stuff. All right. I know we're talking about one defensive spot, but Zamula, though, he hasn't been good either.
He hasn't. He had a real bad night as well. The main reason why I didn't really highlight him in my column or talk about him yet is because I'm still operating the assumption he's going to make the team. I still think he's going to make the team, but he has been bad.
If no one is stealing this sixth spot that's wide open because of an injury, who's like, oh yeah, and now a fifth spot. Like, how can you do that to a guy who's at least listed? It's not like he's defending the job well, but no one's taking that from him. No one's taking a wide open spot. So the defense, absolutely a work in progress through the first three.
Yeah, and don't even get us started on Noah Juulsen.
Your boy.
In the first period, he fell on his zone behind the net. It was like he got checked by a ghost. It was wild. And then him and Dennis Gable crash into each other on one of the goals. It's been rough.
These two are they're leaving the door open as well.
Yeah.
You know, because they're just the guys that could be like, all right, we got the vets who won't embarrass themselves.
Exactly.
And it's like, they might. All right. I don't want to send everyone into the weekend on a down note, so let's talk about a couple of good things before we get to Super Chats and wrap up.
Okay.
First, we finally have a home preseason game, Charlie. You're going to get to go to the arena. You're going to get to be back in the press box and do the thing. Saturday, 5 p.m., the first actual Flyers game at the XFINITY
I love
Mobile
the 5
Arena.
p.m. element.
That's a nice one.
Because that gives, like, you cover the game, write your article, and I maybe could still go out and grab a drink at the bar on Saturday night.
Absolutely. Yeah. Flyers Bruins 5 p.m. If the lineup is some locks and some guys we're rooting for and everything goes generally well, does that erase like what we've seen to this point where it's like, yeah, a lot of underwhelming? Now, there's been some good too. It's not like that game last night is indicative of everything, but it's not like we've been super excited by anything that hasn't been Matvei Michkov thus far. Does that like, okay, they're home, they had some days off, and now, yeah, okay, we can start judging them from here. Do you think that's how we'll come into Monday as long as this is like it's a decent lineup and they look presentable?
I hope so. I think that the Flyers are going to dress a lineup that makes it likely that's the outcome. It's very clear they're saving Michkov for Saturday. It's very clear they're saving Zegras for Saturday, and they're probably going to play together. So that just may overshadow everything if like Zegras scores 2 goals, Michkov has 3 assists. That is, I think, what they're hoping for. That said, if they throw Sam Ersson out there and he gives up 4 goals, that could overshadow everything.
Oh, man, I really hope we're not doing a Sam Ersson show on Monday. All right, and Michkov and Zegras are BFFs, Charlie. That's really the heartwarming material. They're doing this one-on-one competition the other day where one of them is playing net and the other is coming in on a breakaway against them. Like, they seem to just be, we've seen them actually work on serious stuff, like where they want one-timers and all that.
Yeah.
And I think what I'm seeing right now, like this stuff is good for a number of reasons. Like you see Mish and Tocchet working one-on-one. See the second most skilled forward, like ingratiating himself with the most important player to this rebuild. And I think this is awesome for a number of reasons. One, down the line, we're talking hypotheticals. Let's send everyone into a panic right now. I'm looking at what's going on with McDavid. I'm looking at what's going on with Quinn Hughes, some of the really good or star unsigned young players. Mish keeps talking about wanting to win. I'm not saying he's trying to ask out. That's not where I'm going with this. But down the line, this team needs to be good or he's not going to want to stay. Like, that's true of all good players. They are, at least right now, the team isn't very good. But they're, at least right now, looks like they're creating an environment that's like acknowledges you're the guy. And also, him and Zegras being what they are right now. As we trigger overtime, go to allphly.com to continue watching the show. I thought I could get this out, but we're at 59. Like all of this stuff, they are creating this environment And with Zegras now, we know that Zegras, Drysdale, and York, they're going to be like the social leaders of this thing. They are best friends. They're already got features of them hanging out.
Yeah, about Drysdale cooking dinner.
Yeah, Drysdale's cooking them dinner. Michkov, there is a language barrier. He does seem to communicate much better with his teammates than he does with the media. Like, he's comfortable, much more comfortable.
Yes.
But just the fact that, okay, if it's him and Z, and Zegras is part of like the social core here, that's the group. Like, okay, now we have like a core, not only group of players that we're building around, but dudes who just like being around each other. And that has to be, it can't be a negative. They are creating an environment and a culture that will keep this guy happy as they figure out how to turn the team into a winner. And that is important to me.
I just think Michkov is happy to finally have someone to do
cool
and fun hockey stuff with. Because look, like Travis Konechny is legitimately a star level player. He made Team Canada. He's a very good hockey player. He's also, hilariously enough, it's wild to say this, like he's a family man now.
Yeah,
like he's got a family. He's got a house. He's got people to take care of. Whereas Zegras is still kind of, he's older than Michkov, but he's still kind of the fun-loving guy who will stay after practice for 45 minutes practicing Michigans with Michkov because Michkov wants to try something new. I think he's just happy that he's got someone to play with.
Absolutely. Like, the fact that we've been doing this, well, you know what? Sean Couturier is the only one that can think his game. Like, love Coots. Coots is going to go down as an all-time Flyer if they ever figure this thing out. Yeah. But, like, he has never been the skilled guy.
No.
It's not like he's playing well off of figuring out what the hell Michkov's going to do. Yeah. But this is actually someone who, like, Michkov might have to react to. And I bet you that's a fun proposition for him.
Yeah.
He probably didn't do a ton of reacting last year. It was just him dictating and being like, Owen Tippett doesn't know where to go. You know? And Tippett's a very good player. He does have skills.
In his own way. He's a good player.
Yeah,
but
like,
he doesn't think nor maneuver the puck in the way that Matvei Michkov does. Whereas Zegras at least does to a point.
It's just exciting. Here's an exciting thing. I wanted to just take us into the weekend on a good note, because this wasn't the most positive shit.
Yeah, not really.
All right. And that, oh no, we have a super chat. It's JH, and JH says 278. Columbus waived one of their goalies, and Flyers might need a goalie.
Ivan Fedotov was waived today by Columbus. He's apparently having a very good preseason. He's appeared in 2 games and done very well in both of them. There were actually some Columbus fans wondering why they waived him this soon. My assumption is they might not even send him down yet, but they just want to get him through waivers because that's always been their plan. I don't know who would claim that contract. It would be very funny if someone did, though.
That's when they talked about the protection list with the expansion draft, and it was like, well, yeah, of course we didn't protect Andrew McDonald, but they came out and said, oh, well, his contract's its own protection. You know, they have Jet Greaves, they have Merzlikins. Like, this is their goalie plan.
Yeah.
They were always going to waive him. They did.
Yeah.
I wanted to get into some of that stuff, but it's Friday. I want to go home. Yeah, 278 days.
We made it past 200. Good job, gang.
Thank you all for getting us to 200. Thank you all for watching. Thanks for hanging out. That's all the time we have for you on PHLY Flyers today. Make sure you're following us right here on the YouTube page. Set that reminder bell so you see us whenever we go live. Non-game days, 4 p.m. as it has been. Of course, pre and post once the regular season starts, and hopefully a few months from now, the playoffs. Make sure you're following us on all the socials. We are at PHLY_Flyers on Twitter. Follow the podcast as well, wherever you get those. And hey, do me a favor. Check out Philadelphia.
Yeah.
Weekdays.
It's a great show.
Monday to Friday, 1:30 to 2. It's 30 minutes. So you got 30 minutes.
It's a short show. If you can't watch it live, watch it while you're cooking dinner.
Download the podcast.
Yeah.
It's available everywhere. Philadelphia. Thanks, Charlie. All right. That's it. Thank you to Brenna for producing today. My name is Bill Matz. That's Charlie O'Connor. Go Birds.
We all silly like the mayor.